Interstellar object whirling through our solar system is actually a nuclear-powered spacecraft sent by aliens to test how humans respond.
Hey, it's Tonight's Future of Everything. It's been a few days since we've talked about our favorite interstellar object, 3I Atlas, and yes, we've got some updates. Check out these new images that show 3I Atlas in a whole new light.
We see more than 7 jets that are highly collimated coming out of this object. And of course, there are 2 possibilities that we considered all along, that these jets are naturally produced.
A black sky, no stars, just the low hum of space. A thin streak of light, faint, distant, wrong. Somewhere beyond Jupiter's orbit, something was already moving toward us. Not orbiting, not captured, not bound. 58 kilometers per second. Fast enough to escape the sun. Fast enough to ignore it. The first sign that something was wrong wasn't its origin. It was its behavior. Back in May 2025, before the official discovery, NASA's test satellite had already seen it. At that distance, more than 5 astronomical units from the sun, it should have been frozen solid. Its brightness increased 5 times more than expected. That meant one thing. It was active. A coma, gas and dust was already forming around it. But here's the problem. At that distance, water ice doesn't sublimate. It's too cold. Yet 3I Atlas was already venting material into space. When scientists analyzed the gas cloud, they found something unusual. Carbon dioxide dominated the coma. 8 times more CO2 than water. Dry ice. That explained the early activity. But it raised another question. What kind of star system creates comets like that? Because in our system, water usually dominates. Then came the polarization data. The way sunlight scattered off the object was extreme, negative polarization, the most intense ever recorded, meaning the dust and surface properties didn't behave like typical solar system comets. It wasn't just foreign, it was structurally different. Then the metals. Nickel was detected in the coma. Iron was not. Those elements are normally found together, forged in the same stellar explosions. So where was the iron? Why was nickel escaping alone? Months later, as it moved closer to the sun, iron finally appeared. The ratio normalized, as if layers were being stripped away, as if the outer shell was different from the inside. And then, the tail. Comet tails are pushed away from the sun by solar wind. But the first visible tail of 3I Atlas faced the sun. The wrong direction. Material accumulated on the warm side before solar wind could push it back. Eventually, it corrected itself. But that first image lingers. October 3rd, 2025. It passed closest to Mars. Cameras on the Perseverance rover captured a faint streak in the Martian sky. 30-second exposures, stacked frames, not a glowing comet, just a slash of light. Then, October 29th, perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, 1.4 astronomical units. Peak heat, peak activity, and we couldn't see it, blocked by solar glare. The most critical moment, hidden. Astronomers traced its path backward 10 million years. It encountered 93 stars, never coming closer than 0.3 light-years to any of them. It drifted alone, possibly for 7.6 billion years, originating from the thick disk of the Milky Way, an ancient region of the galaxy. A faint streak, barely visible, 30 seconds of exposure. a scar of light tearing across the Martian sky, captured by a rover that was never meant to look up, an object moving too fast, too straight, too perfectly aligned, 58 kilometers per second, not orbiting, not slowing down, just passing through. And then, nothing. The sun swallows it whole. What you're about to hear was never meant to be discovered. This isn't just another comet. This is the third confirmed interstellar object ever detected. But it's bigger, faster, older, and it entered at an angle that shouldn't statistically exist. By the end of this story, you won't see 3I Atlas as a visitor. You'll see it differently. Maybe as a message, maybe as a warning. July 1st, 2025, a network of telescopes scans the night sky. Atlas, built to detect threats. They see a moving dot. Routine. Catalog it. Move on. Then someone checks the speed, and everything changes. Earth orbits the Sun at 30 kilometers per second. Mercury at 48. This object, 58. And it was still near Jupiter. Too far, too cold, too fast. It wasn't orbiting. It was escaping. A hyperbolic trajectory. It came from interstellar space, and it's going back. They name it 3I Atlas, third interstellar object, after ʻOumuamua, after Borisov. But this one is different. First, size. Up to 5.6 kilometers wide, a mountain in motion. Second, speed. Nearly double the others. Third, direction. ʻOumuamua came from above. Borisov from roughly the same direction. That makes sense. The sun moves through the galaxy. We collide with debris head-on. But 3I Atlas didn't hit us head-on. It T-boned the system. Only 3 degrees off the ecliptic plane. Almost perfectly aligned with every planet. Space is chaos. 3 dimensions. And this object slipped in like it knew the layout. 3 degrees. Coincidence? Maybe. But listen, May 7th, 2025. Tess had already seen it. For a month, it watched the object drift inward. Astronomers measured its brightness. They expected a small increase. They got 5 times brighter. 5. That's not an asteroid. That's activity. A coma forming. Gas erupting. But it was beyond Jupiter, over 5 astronomical units from the Sun. Too cold for water ice, yet it was already sublimating. When they analyzed the coma, it wasn't dominated by water, it was carbon dioxide, 8-to-1, dry ice, sublimating in weak sunlight, active far earlier than it should be, then the light scattering. Polarization. Most objects show positive polarization. 3I Atlas showed extreme negative polarization, the most ever recorded. The light behaved differently, the material behaved differently, foreign, not just interstellar, unfamiliar. Then the metals. Nickel detected, no iron. Nickel and iron are born together, forged in dying stars. So where was the iron? What separated them? And how was metal sublimating so far from the Sun? Later, iron appeared, the ratio normalized. As it moved closer, it became more normal, as if layers were burning off, revealing something underneath. Then the tail. Comet tails point away from the Sun. Solar wind pushes them back. But the first tail of 3I Atlas faced the Sun, the wrong direction. Material building up on the warm side. Later, the tail corrected, pointing outward. Normal. Eventually, it passes near Jupiter. One last look. After that, it fades, cools, returns to interstellar darkness. Here's what unsettles scientists. The closer it got, the more normal it became. Water increased. Iron appeared, tail corrected, as if our sun was rewriting it, or revealing it. Was the strangeness original, or ancient layers waking under heat? Billions of years frozen. Then sudden activity, Sudden change. We call it a comet because that feels safe. But safety is comfort, and comfort can be wrong. There will be a fourth interstellar object, and a fifth. And one day, one may not just pass through. 3I Atlas is already leaving. But it took something with it, our certainty.